that time, how did you stay motivated? How did you continue to perform? Because again, I know there was fear of getting deported, but you're like, it may not be a bad solution or it may not be a bad option at this point. How do you stay motivated to continue chasing something bigger than, what people have told you can do?
There was the mission, which we'd already talked about. There was the deported, which we'd already talked about. And then there was the team.
Yeah.
And I just talked about that in a different context, but I didn't want to let these guys down.
Yeah.
So even if I was feeling feelings of remorse of, did I make the right decision? Maybe I should go do something else. I could go work back at the bank because that was really fun. I didn't want to let my buddies down because once Chris had convinced me, I was a part of the coalition to convince them to move. So what are you going to do? Tell your buddies to uproot their lives and move across the world and then be like, this is too hard. Good luck.
Yeah.
There's just no way I would have done that.
There had to be something about Chris and his leadership skills that that swayed you to take this chance to move on. Was there any qualities about what Chris brought to the table that made you think, I can do this?
I just looked at Chris and thought, I'm cut from the same cloth as him. And so you're not allowed to say words like impossible around Chris. That's like, you say something like it can't be done, he twitches. He gets like a little trigger.
Right.
Like you can't, and so his mentality of we're going to figure out whatever it takes, we're going to figure out a way to make it happen.
Right.
And their mission was to see $1 billion of giving drop into the local church. And at that point, I think we'd seen about $5. Probably something like that. And he's like, it's going to happen. Like, really? $1 billion? Yes, unequivocally, $1 billion. It's like, all right, sounds good, Chief. We're with you all the way. So it was that like deep-seated conviction and this idea that he would never, ever give up on it.
Talk about that aspect, because I think that translates to so many things. Whatever, we talk about goal setting. It does seem impossible. You got $5 and you're wanting to get $1 billion. Like that doesn't even compute how that's even in a realm of possibility. So what's the mentality when he says something like that?
I think when you're motivating a team, you have to pick something that seems impossible, because otherwise you're not going to hire winners, because you're going to bring a bunch of people in that think you can accomplish something that they thought from the jump was going to be relatively easy.
Right.
So the team's just not going to strive for the excellence factor. And so you have to come in with something a little bit ludicrous, like 10 years we're going to land a man on the moon, and everyone says you're a heretic and you're crazy and you're insane. If you don't come out with that, who are you motivating and inspiring, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Good. That's so good. Yeah. I never thought about that, because if you're not on board with doing something impossible, like probably not right for our team.
And there's the whole mentality of aim for the stars, hit the moon. And that works. So last year we had a plan to double. And we had this plan. We had the base plan, which was just if things stay as normal. Then we had the go fast plan, which was double. We ended up tripling in a year, right? Wow. And I look back on that and I think, if we had said we just want to grow a little bit, instead of if we'd said we literally want to double the company.
Growth, guys.
Right, exactly. Who are you motivating? That's not exciting. So
no, that's good. Okay, so when did it make the turn in Seattle where you're like, okay, all right, like I see it now?
He's like,
real talk. When I moved to Texas.
Real talk.
Real talk. We broke all the software records of a startup. 0 to 100 million of revenue in 5 years, $1 billion valuation, unicorn startup, all the things. I felt like a failure for almost every single stage of that journey.
How's that? And why? Why is that?
Because it was never enough. Every record was a record to be broken. And the moment that we'd hit the sales number, there was another one to be hit. And so I recall very few moments in the middle of it stopping and going, we've made it.
That's amazing that you guys didn't take the time to celebrate those wins.
It was one of the reasons we were so effective at executing and hitting all the goals. And it was one of the reasons why the culture became relatively toxic over time, because we didn't stop to celebrate as much as we could have.
I was just going to ask, is that a good thing that you didn't stop to celebrate? Is that a bad thing? Is it somewhere in the middle? What's your opinion on that?
It's so easy to look back on the journey and say it was a bad thing. But if we hadn't have been that relentless, and some could say ruthless, then would we have hit it? I don't think we would have. I don't think we would have. If we didn't have a bunch of people that were going to get deported if you miss your number, would we have hit the number? I don't think so. So it's easy for me to sit here and go, oh, we should have felt like we were winning more, and I should have pat myself on the back more and taken more vacations. But I don't think we would have made it.